Today we're going to get this truck started. It's been sitting here, as you can tell, for a few years. And a friend of mine, I had sold him one of these trucks 5-6 years ago, and the compressor went bad. And unfortunately, when it ran out of oil or sent shrapnel through the motor, it destroyed his motor. So he needs a motor. So we're going to take this truck and get it started and do a complete look over check on the engine to see what kind of condition it's in. This thing's a 2005 or 2006, whichever, and it's got low miles. Well, for these 200 and some thousand, low 200s, which is a reasonable amount of miles. Let's see what it is here. And 219, 33,000 pound GVW truck. Cruise control, exhaust brake, manual transmission, air brakes, of course. Needs rockers and cab corners. Well, we're not going to fool with that. So we'll get started and then maybe sell the motor out of it. So we got the essentials: the good jump box, the continuous 12-volt jump box. That'll make sense later. Some sockets, an empty water bottle, and a little bit of snort of the good stuff. What we want to do first is get the hood open and check the oil and see what the oil looks like, if it's overfull, if it's low, or what it smells like, what it feels like, all that kind of stuff. That's first and foremost. Well, that's a good sign. We are not overfull, we are just slightly low. I'd much rather see that than see it overfull. And then the next thing we have to do is feel it. See if it feels like just dirty old engine oil, if it smells like just dirty old engine oil, or if it smells like coolant or diesel fuel. And it doesn't smell like diesel fuel or coolant, so I think we're okay there. Next thing I want to do is check the coolant level. When I buy a truck, especially one I think is going to sit for a while, I put a mark on the coolant bottle, so when I come back to it, I know how much coolant was in it when I parked it, and that tells me, gives me a good idea of whether we have a leak externally or internally. And I made a mark right there, so it is still right where it was. Now, since we know that we have oil and the oil looks good, doesn't smell any weird, or have any contaminants in it, I'm still going to go ahead and get a sample out of the oil pan. That's what the sockets and the water bottle are for. Now this would be the same thing I do on a first start. If something had been sitting for a while and I want to go start it. Oh man, that may be a problem. Holy crap, I think I broke the socket. I cracked my socket. Oh, nope, it came loose. Okay, so this would be the same as if it was a truck I was going to go look at that had been sitting for a while. If I can get to the oil pan, I want to get a sample, because coolant will sit on the bottom of the oil, because the coolant in water is heavier. We'll let that settle out and then get it in the sunlight and get a look at it. Okay, let's see what we got. Let it sit for a while, but I don't see any coolant, and I didn't see any come out, so we'll revisit this in a little bit and see what it looks like. So the next thing we need is power, since those batteries are dead. I'm not going to change the batteries out, pretty unnecessary. So I've got the world's best jump box. I don't care what people say, that thing works phenomenal. It'll crank things that it probably shouldn't. But it times out, it's got a timer and it shuts off. And then this one is just a 12 volt constant. So when this one times out, it'll give it enough voltage that it can continue to run. If the alternator can't charge these batteries, they won't take a charge. We'll have something that takes a charge, supply 12 volts, if that makes sense. So next step is we need to see if we have power. Well, that's encouraging. We had it for a second and we lost, so we have to wiggle our connection. One of our connections down here is not good enough. Well, here's one thing I absolutely hate about trucks that sit. The steering wheel gets all sticky. So we have power. Turn the big jump box on now. Check engine lights on. Ready to crank. Well, that was pretty uneventful. You gotta be kidding me. We got a stop engine light. We got something squealing. Sounds like it got a belt. Probably gonna pulley. Yep, I can smell it. We got a pulley that froze up. Okay. Well, that was pretty uneventful, but what do you expect from a 5.9 common rail? So either the alternator or the idler or the water pump, something is locked up. And we'll look for the residue to find out which one it is, which one's hot. It's the water pump, I think. Doesn't look like it's moving. Ooh, belt's hot right there. Alternator might be the culprit. So what we'll do is get ratchet on here, remove the tension, and we'll see, because this won't move. It'll just sit there and go until the belt's burnt in half. And that one's hot. That one's not. That one's not. That one's not. Yeah. All right, let's see what we can find out. I've got my ratchet on the tensioner, and I'm not even holding it. It's there's enough corrosion in there. It's just holding it right there with no tension. But as you can see, it looks like the alternator is the culprit. Water pump's free. Idler pulley's free. AC compressor's free. Looks like it's the alternator. So I'm going to try and work this back and forth, see if I can get it loose. It's running, but it's got a skip. Might have an injector giving us some trouble. I wish I could check the codes, but my snap-on scanner has decided to quit working. It won't communicate. I've tried a different cable. I've tried shutting it off, trying again. This won't. I thought maybe it was a communication cable error, you know, something going on here, and I've moved it all around. I've tried a different one, and nothing works. So I can't even look and see what's in there. I know we got to check engine light, but that's it. That's all we know. Kind of in the dark right now. A company had contacted me a while ago about looking at their scanner, and I haven't done anything with it because I didn't need it, but looks like now I need it, so maybe I'll get in touch with them and see what we can find out and try theirs. I just don't want to go through the same thing I did last time, you know. Oh, look at that. That was weird. Oh. That's longer than it's done before. Might be in this connector up here. Well, that's taking forever. If it brings something up, I'll bring you back. Well, That's how long she was sitting there. Holy crap. Spun just a little bit, but all the brakes popped loose. I'm gonna go get some diesel fuel treatment. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, look how deep that was. Holy moly. Yeah, we'll get some diesel fuel treatment, get in this thing. I don't know what we got for fuel. It's probably pretty terrible. Pressurized, how about that? See if it starts running better now. I bet it's got a plugged up vent on this thing. Yeah, we'll see if it'll clear out. Look at her now. Got all the air out of the system. Maybe not all of it. It's getting there. I bet you the vent's plugged on that tank. Yeah, now she's idling nice. Very nice. So much nicer. Look at that. Oh, like a daisy. Maybe a little bit more. We might need to get a fuel filter on it too. So it's like it's got air in the system. We can't get it out, right? So this line here is wet with diesel fuel. I can smell it. And then there's another line back here, right there, that is soaking wet as well. Now, the way this system works is it comes from the tank, it comes up here, and they run it through the cooling plate of the ECM first, then over here, and then back out to the pump. Let me show you underneath. Okay, so this is a line from the tank, comes up here into the cooler plate of the ECM, then it comes up to that other line that I told you was wet, and it is right there. Let's see if I can get a light on it. See, it's soaking wet right there. So right there, that line comes all the way back to here, which is the electric fuel pump. This is a supply pump. That line is on this side with a quick disconnect. So until it reaches this point, it is a suction line, and from here forward it becomes pressurized. So with that line being wet like that, it's very possible we're sucking air right there instead of fuel, and that's giving us our problem. Now, to alleviate this, we basically have to not run fuel quickly. We can run fuel directly there on the pressure side. So on the pressure side of this pump, which is right here, this is the other one that's wet up here that I showed you first. So we could just basically eliminate this stuff and then go straight to that port over there at the pump and send fuel pressure to the filter housing right there, and it would basically bypass everything that's leaking here, and our return comes off the back of the engine right up in there. So we could cap that off, or we could just take the line off the tank and run it into a bucket and see what we got. Either or, but regardless, we got a little bit of work to do to get it figured out. We want to make sure it's good before we pull it and there's no issues. But I'm fairly confident it was air intrusion. Let's see if that's the case. I have that fuel pump on, running, and you can hear it. So if you pay attention to that pump too, it's just like the miss, like it's supplying fuel, not. It's just what the engine sounds like. Well, I wish I was recording when I did that, because it was a big vacuum coming out of there. Yeah, we didn't have any fuel at all dripping out of that line. I'm gonna set this up and see if I can just run the fuel pump once and see if we actually get any fuel out of here, because this should be the pressure line at this point. So I ran it for just about a minute or so, and I'm gonna see how this comes off. I mean, it's leaking. And again, this is pressure at this point, or suction pressure. It figures I can't get my fingers in there. To do this, I need two hands. I was hoping to catch what it sounds like. Ready? I'm gonna have to. Oh, so you get a vacuum on these filters, they're just miserable to get off. So now, let's go grab us a filter wrench and a filter. And when you run this thing, it's like in a vacuum. We're not supplying enough fuel. Man, it just seems to suck the insides. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's go get us a filter wrench, and I might have a ratchet strap we can use, so I don't have to leave. At least not yet. Ratchet strap around the filter, tighten it up, and push on the strap. And usually you can get enough to get it loose. Tighten it up again. It should come off now. There we go. All right. There we go. Now we can change the filter and get a look at it. Confirmed. Our thing's about empty. There's barely any fuel in there, so we're not pushing fuel. Now we'll just drain that and see how much of that is water. So that pump is probably just pumping air. Now we just need to know if it's just because of that line that's sucking air, or is there another problem. Let's get a sample of this. So this is the fuel before the filter. And I didn't see any water in there, which is very surprising. So now I'm going to dump that, and then we'll get a sample out of this. That's not much fuel on that big filter. We'll let it settle out and see what's in it. Really doesn't look all that terrible. So I looked down the center of this, and you figure when we poured that out of the bottom, and this is so clean, like we got no water in here at all. And the fuel itself doesn't look bad. So I don't think we have a bad fuel problem. I think we have air in the fuel and not enough fuel, because that thing should have been full with that thing running as much as it had been. So that pump could be not pumping enough, or it can't pump enough because it's sucking air. One or the other. We have to figure out which. And to eliminate this for what we're doing, I think what I'm going to do is go get an outside source, and we'll plumb in fuel to the engine here and bypass that pump and bypass the fuel tank over there and see what it does. So let me go gather some stuff up, and we'll get fresh fuel to put in here as well, and put it back on. I don't think we need to change that. I didn't see any reason to. No debris came out. It was clean down the center. It doesn't look that old. So let's move on to outside fuel source. I boogered up a outside source. So this is like a 14 to 16 psi pump. I just ran it through some line over to the other side, and basically disconnected the supply, the suction side, and we just brought it in to the filter here. So what we're going to do is fire this thing up. I've disconnected the other fuel pump, so it shouldn't pump out of here. So we're going to run the fuel pump for a little while and hopefully fill up that filter. Let's see what happens. I've got it running over here off a set of jumper cables. I can hear it running. The wind's blowing. Oh, yeah, it's running. Okay, now we'll put the jump box on and give her a crank and see what she does here. Take a little while. That fuel filter was empty because I forgot to get diesel. I'll let it idle and see what happens. Well, that sounds better. Let it run a while, make sure that skip is gone. But I think we found the problem. Sounds pretty good. Be alright with that. And let's see. Good oil pressure, temperature's down again. Over a half tank of fuel. It says it's charging. I don't think it really is. If it is, oh, look at that. Air pressure just popped off. Oh, listen at her, how smooth now. Boy, she certainly sounds good now, don't she? What I love about the old Cummins motors. They can sit and they don't take a lot. I mean, look at this. I don't know what this pump costs. It was pretty cheap. Just a little electric pump. Bypass it. I mean, think about that. If you had this problem alongside the road, I mean, you wouldn't do this, but you could do something similar, tie into the pickup tube, away you go. I think this runs so nice. Air compressor pops off. I was even able to move the thing. None of the brakes were stuck. Did pretty good. Spun a little bit trying to get out of them holes, but you don't realize just how deep them holes are. But let it run a while, get up to operating temperature, check everything out. If everything's okay, look at her go. No check engine light anymore. That must have been the problem. Not getting enough fuel supply. It runs good. One thing we don't do in a truck that's sit a long time, you go to turn the AC on with your face here. Point these suckers down. Because when you go to turn the blower on, if there's been a mouse in here, it will absolutely blow the mouse nest all up in your face, and that's less than attractive. Oh, yep, brake light goes out when you apply to release the parking brake. Good deal. I don't think the AC works. Let's see if we can raise the idle. It'll let us. Oh, it's going. Look at that. Should be able to raise the idle. Hit the clutch. Go down. Bring it back up. Hit the brake. Yep, shuts off. Good deal. I don't think the AC works. I mean, I'm surprised, right? Clutch works good. Feels good. Grabbing right there. Good transmission. Heck yeah. Yeah, alright. Well, I'm gonna let it run a while. Watch temperature, watch everything, make sure it sounds good. If it does, we'll give him a ring. Tell him to come check it out and let him pay me, and then we'll take it apart. Hate to take the truck apart, but they're worth more in pieces than they are whole. That's just the reality of what we do. One last look. It's been running for about an hour now. I had it running with idle up for a while, just to see if the temperature would come up any higher or anything like that, but man, I think it's just fine. I think we are good to go. We'll call him, let him know what we found, and let him make a decision if he wants it or not. We'll go from there. If we pull it apart, you guys will see it, because it's unfortunate, but you know, these trucks are worth more in pieces than they are whole. Man, that air compressor works so good too. But it is what it is. I got a lot of good parts here. The cab is probably the worst part in the door, but other than that, motor, transmission, air brake axles, I even got some good frame rail, transmission, you know, there's a lot. Cooler pack, I can use a hood for another truck I've got, you know, whatever. Just make the call. I'll let you know what he says. I hope he doesn't take it. I'd rather build this truck.